I got to work on the abruptness of that of the way it ends. But you know what? Who cares? You know why? Because I'm old and I don't give a shit. This is funny, everybody. Cue laughter. Hey, so today is a different show. Yes, it is, everybody. No movie review. It'll be once in a while. We'll bring that back. But we're trying out this whole murder mystery thing for the comic menu. And let me bring my buddy in, my my co-host with the mostest. Yay,
Darkest one of the
Dell.
crew.
Dell's back, everybody. Yeah, uh, Dell, as everyone knows, he's prioritizing his life, and he's only on here for an hour, so we get an hour of Dell. So that means all the Team Dells and Team Caesar, it should all go to me because Dell's not here long enough to get all the votes. And then, but you know who does get all the votes? These two lovely ladies. That's right. These two lovely ladies. They get all the
Oh,
votes. All 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 the men's over the age of 80 always vote for Mandy and
Sweet.
Shannon. And all the young ladies at the retirement home always vote for us. Hey everybody. What a great show. How's everyone
good.
doing?
Hello.
Yeah.
Feeling extra
Yeah, it's been
schmurdery?
let's guess it's been a while. Murder. Oh man. You know what? They can't do ID Network cannot do enough murder shows. As a matter of fact, they're starting to run out of ideas and names of murder shows. I just saw one today called Murder in the Snow. And I'm like, I wonder what
Ooh, I
that's
want to
about.
watch
They
it.
do, yeah,
Okay.
it's on ID. It's called Murder in the Snow. So I'm assuming it's all places like where Shannon
Shut.
lives. And and the other one, they do like strictly murder shows in
Yeah.
Christmas, like shit that actually happened on
Dude,
Christmas.
those are crazy.
Those are very like those
Because
are rough.
because people's like emotional stress is so high around holidays that the shit that they plot in their mind is diabolically ridiculous because they think that they can come up with these crazy asinine ideas of how they can get away with doing something and they get caught. It's just
Yeah.
it's stupid. Interesting,
You,
but
you,
stupid.
you know what's even you know what's even more sad to me is that they can do a show strictly on murders happening on holidays, murders happening in the snow, murders happening in the
Easter.
desert, murders happening in in the sea. There's one strictly that has to do with like in the ocean. It's 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 crazy. It's crazy. And this is something that's been going on forever, as we know, back in the biblical days. Murder is murder. It's been around since since the
Well,
Bible.
it's kind of
So
against it. Just a little. Just a little.
yeah, but
Thou shall
there's
not.
stories
I
around. There's
mean,
yeah.
it was
Well,
literally
they
written
said
in
thou should
stone.
not lose my hair.
Literally.
Literal, right?
Literally written in stone.
Um, but that being said, there's so much. There's after all the shows that I watch, and Mandy could attest to this because Mandy and I are the show watchers when it comes to murders on the
Uh-huh.
show. Shannon reads books. I don't read,
She
as
does
everybody
the
knows.
heavy lifting. Yeah.
Dell, I don't know what
I'm
the hell
in,
Dell
in
does.
between some. Oh
He
no,
So
Googles.
I hear podcasts. Actually, I have a list right here.
See?
I like
He
as always.
Googles.
I was gonna ask you, Dale. You should put like the list of like the top whatever
I
famous
looked it up.
murders.
I
Okay.
actually did. You want to know what the number
Oh
one was?
Yeah.
OJ.
no, I want to do this on the
OJ.
show.
I looked it
What?
up just as we
What
were
the
in
fuck?
the back room.
What?
No,
So real
don't
quick,
don't give me number one. I want to
It
go through the
brings
no,
body
list.
count to a whole new meaning.
Because
Shannon,
it's
what
not
was
off
To
of
its
based off
original
it's
meaning.
not based off of body count though. The most
it,
famous murders are not based off of
What's it
body
what's
count.
it based off of? I'm so
intimacy?
curious.
Yeah, what is it?
Okay, so a lot of the most famous like criminal cases are not
Yeah.
based off of body count, they're based off of the person, what they did or how they did it or what they got away with. That has nothing to do with their body count because if you did it by
So it's
body
a
count,
popularity contest?
I mean,
Infamy.
okay. So my thing says the most famous criminal cases. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Number 1 is O.J. Simpson. We all know that. It's true. He did it. He got away with it. He attested to it later. He got
Mhm.
caught. He wrote a book because he openly admitted it in the book like a dumbass. They came back with evidence, tried him,
Huh.
whatever he said, it's gone. It's said. Martha Stewart is number 2.
What?
So okay. So
Wait.
so
But we're
yeah,
talking about.
right there. There you go. That's criminal cases.
Yes.
So not murders all together. So
But the funny
Yeah,
part
that's
is
not
I
murder
put
cases.
famous murders in history. And she was number
So why
2.
would
She probably has killed people and she just bakes them.
oh my god.
You're
stupid
probably right.
Mandy?
Number
Now
3.
I know.
People
is
are friends.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Now I know why I'm.
Jeffrey Dahmer is number 3.
Speaking of cannibalism, people are friends, not food.
Okay, so let's do this. How big is
There's
your list?
7.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I have 15.
Oh,
You have how many?
15. The 15 most famous murders in the United States. Murder.
Okay, do your list. Let's do it.
okay. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. This is just to make it more fun instead of Dale butchering names. So let's go with this. Dale, we're gonna throw out cases, and you tell us if it's
Okay,
on the
sounds
list.
good.
Okay. Let's go with the obvious. Right? O.J. Simpson.
Let me see where he's at.
Oh, for fuck's
I'm
sake.
going through the list, dude.
He's got 50.
But there's only 15 of them. You can
but
fit
each
one
one's a
page.
paragraph of like the whole case. So
Oh, you're cute.
hey, at least I can read him. He couldn't read him. He's not even on the list.
Happy face killer.
No, he's not here neither.
Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
No, I put United States, not in the.
Oh, come on.
This
Hey, oh, I
list
got-
is
Because we're gonna talk about
Jeffrey
it specifically.
Dahmer.
Yes, he's on here.
okay.
Okay.
What number? Well, give us the number.
From again.
Yeah, this will be 2 hours. All right.
13.
The Manson brothers.
Ted Bundy.
Uh-uh.
Manson? You mean the Melendez brothers?
No, Marilyn, not Marilyn.
I mean, allegedly.
Charles Manson and the Manson family.
Charles Manson. That's who I
Charles,
meant.
yeah.
Manson.
Number 5.
Okay. Number 5. About the Melendez
No.
brothers.
What? Although they were
Ted
acquitted.
Bundy.
Number 2.
Ted
Yeah.
Bundy's
Oh,
number
that
2.
makes sense. I cannot wait to actually see that movie
Yeah.
or show whatever they're doing about him.
I
They
thought
did
already
one with
it.
Zac
With,
Efron.
what's his
and
face?
They've done they've
Zac
done
Efron.
a few, but I wonder, everyone wants a chance to
Okay,
do
no.
their
Well,
version.
then I could be wrong. Then, Thomas, we're talking about murders and murder mysteries and stuff like that. So then, who is and I'm really bad with names. The main guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Wait.
The-
About Wayne Gacy.
He's
John-
number 1.
John Wayne
Oh,
Gacy.
you're interrupting me, Caesar.
That's who. That's who.
Well, because I had to say it now, or I'll forget.
Caesar, you're correct. Shannon, you're correct. You guys are talking about the same person.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I'm talking about Sons of Anarchy, the main character.
Yeah.
And what he's
Who
gonna
plays
do.
Jax?
Is he doing? Yes, he plays Jax. But I thought he was doing the Bundy one. Is he not?
I think he's doing John Wayne Gacy.
Is he?
Is John Wayne Gacy on that
Yeah,
list?
he's number
Del?
I'm checking. Hold on.
1.
What number?
He said he's number 1.
Oh, he's number 1.
Really?
Sweet.
Because he
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I can give you number 3. It's 30. I mean, I won't butcher it. I'm not going to butcher his name or his nickname. It's number 3 is Son of Sam.
I was
that is
gonna say
creepy.
Son
That
of
is a
Sam.
creepy one. That's for sure.
Charlie Hunman.
What about the Zodiac killer?
Charlie Hunman,
I
that's
mean,
right.
there's 2 of them.
Yeah, Thomas is Thomas is saying Charlie Hunter.
Oh,
That's
the
the
actor.
the main.
Thank you, Thomas, because I'm awful with names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
he's
Zodiac
right.
Killer is number 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna bet
Okay,
it's the
Zodiac
original
Killer's
because the
number 4, okay.
copycat was worthless.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Ed Gein.
Oh, it was Ed Gein.
Oh, Ed Gein. Yeah.
That's who I think Shannon
Ed
is.
Gein.
I'm checking.
You know what?
though.
I'm looking it up because you guys suck.
I am.
Number-
I'm looking it up too.
Number 7 is the BTK Strangler.
I forgot about
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, it's Ed Gein, not
Yeah,
Gacy.
yeah.
Sorry.
Um,
That's who the guy from Sons of Anarchy is going to be playing.
Yeah, he's
Number-
playing Ed Gein in season of Ryan Murphy's Netflix anthology series Monster.
Scared.
Ooh,
So I
it's
don't-
season 3.
I didn't know about this person until now that I'm reading it. But number 8 is the Hillside Strangler.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember him.
The Hillside
Scary.
Strangler.
That's
Mhm.
a Cali thing.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised nobody
Yeah.
said this one.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got one. Because I
I
lived
know
in damn
it's-
town.
I think I'm watching it right now.
The
Black.
holy shit, hold on. Black. No,
Yeah,
the
number
Black Dahlia.
9.
I mean, you know.
Black Dahlia.
No, I'm talking about the Richard
Oh,
Ramirez.
he's so
Is he on there?
scary. He's
No,
so
he's
Ed
scary.
Hernandez. Not is it Ed Hernandez?
He's
The football
he's
player.
West Hollywood.
Oh, Richard-
The football player. They did a show about him when he.
Oh, Aaron
joined
Hernandez?
Murder-
Oh, Aaron Hernandez. Yeah.
No,
But
he's
yeah.
not on there. But I know who you're talking about. There's the number 10 is the dating game killer, Rodney Alcala.
I don't know if I know that.
So if you guys watch, there's a show at Netflix that's about that
Yes.
killer, and it's with that actress. Anyways, it's a good show. It's a good movie. It's decent. But they do talk about it's a guy who was on the game
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
the
That
dating
was so
game,
creepy.
and
It
he
was.
he straight up was like
Yeah.
a serial killer.
He was a
He was on the dating show.
photographer.
Yeah.
This guy has no.
I don't trust
Photographer,
photographers. Not very many of them.
This one has no nickname, but his name is Samuel Little. He confessed to murdering 93 women between 1970 and 2005.
I heard about him.
I have not.
Samuel Little is he? Do you have a picture of him? Is he a black dude?
No, there's no picture.
Statistically,
I
no
think-
white
He is a
season.
black
I
dude.
think-
Yes, and there is a picture of him.
Yeah, and I think they call him the sleeper,
Hold
the something
And he
sleep.
got convicted in 2018.
He had a
so
nickname.
recent.
Wow.
Yeah, I do know that. Unfortunately
He was convicted
I
of
know a lot of-
8 murders. He confessed to committing 93. They confirmed his involvement in at least 60, the largest number of victims for any serial killer in American
Wow.
history.
I'm gonna sit this. Number 12
He
Well,
died
well.
in 2020 in California.
in prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
hope
do
He
so.
too.
was known
Not
as
a-
the
not
choke
wait.
and stroke killer.
The choke and stroke killer. That's what they used to call me in college. Hey, you know the funny thing is,
What a fucking
Um,
liar.
you know the thing about serial killers is that they're fascinating. There's a reason why there's like books and stuff. It's that mind is just so warped, and it all stems from like the childhood. It all started with, a guy was torturing cats,
See,
he's pulling wings
I don't
off
believe that.
fly.
There's a
and-
lot of head injuries too that play a huge role in a lot of these. Like they all sustained severe head injuries when they were babies or when they were really, really young, and they think that might play a factor. Not all of them.
So, to be fair, both statements are accurate. But there's always been a thin line, and they've proven it psychologically in scientifically many ways, that there is a thin line, like a hair strand line between being a genius and a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
so sometimes it's
sure.
not even so much that it stems from anything, that they're so invoked in something that if there's a trigger, it happens, and they don't look at it. They look at it in the most logical way possible on how to fix or solve a problem or to dismiss something. It's not always just like it stemmed from this or it stemmed from that. In my mindset, it doesn't work like that, because when you're a psycho, you know exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and when you're going to handle it. Most people that have characteristics of any type of past, like PTSD, something triggers them to act that way. When you're a psycho that has 90 murders on your belt or 8 murders on your belt or anything like that, you plan that shit for a reason. And it's not because you stem from childhood trauma. It is strictly for the fact that you are making a payback for some reason because you want to be known, be seen, be heard in a good or bad way. That's just how you want to be famous for something like that. Some people do it for being completely famous and wanting to go down in the history books of being like that. So it's not always just a psychological reason, and sometimes it's just because they wanted to see if they could get away with it.
So the next one will be interesting right here, Shannon. Let's just go with what you're saying. The next one's number 12 is zebra murderers. There were a string of racially motivated attacks that were committed by a group of 4 black serial killers in San Francisco. So just like, you know, they weren't crazy, nothing there. You just wanted to kill.
I never heard of. It's called a zebra murders.
They were racial, so they went after a lot of like white and other race people because they were black.
They killed
Interesting.
It was a racial thing.
I've never heard
At
of
least
that.
50 people were killed. 73. I believe that went up
What year,
70
Dale?
to 74.
Wow, I never knew that. And here I am thinking, because I know a lot of shit.
No, I
These
don't
last-
either. Never
These
heard that
last
one.
3 people right here are going to be interesting. Obviously, we already talked about 13, Jeffrey Dahmer, right? We're going to not skip it, but we're going to talk about him right now. Number 14 is Christopher Carver. Christopher
that
Carver. So he killed Jeffrey Dahmer at number 15. So it's kind of weird that his name is on there. He's a murderer, but he only kills serial killers, apparently.
He's the one. He's the one that shanked
So
Dahmer
he's
in prison.
Dexter.
Well, Dexter killed more people, innocent people too, didn't he?
So who's the other
Number
guy he
15,
killed?
Jesse Anderson.
Don't know who that is.
In 1992, Jesse stabbed his wife Barbara 5 times in the face and head after dinner. He went on to blame 2 black men for attacking him and his wife, but the details didn't fit. The authorities investigated and found Jesse guilty. On April 29th, he was charged with murder. On August 13th, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole after 60 years, and was killed by Christopher Carver.
So he was killed by somebody
so
else. Well, they did. Do we miss somebody on that list?
No, but Abby brought up Velma Barfield, so I looked her up.
Yeah.
She was an American serial killer who was convicted of 1 murder, but eventually confessed to 6 in total. She was the first woman in U.S. history to be executed after the 1976 resumption of capital punishment. She was also the first woman to be executed by lethal injection. First degree murder, writing bad checks, 7 counts. Like, she's got those are very opposite things to be charged for.
Yeah.
7 counts of fraud and 1 murder.
Just 6 murders.
Fraud was just the gateway drug.
What?
Yeah, apparently. It was
Oh,
her
it's
gateway
weed.
crime to open up to the premeditated psychopathic.
Don't bounce a check, or you're gonna bounce
I
someone's
mean,
neck
right?
off, head off their neck.
what
Interesting.
what's the name of the lady? I mean, I think she killed the murderer of her child, and they caught it live at the court. Like, she pulled out her gun, right? She was
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
To the people,
Yeah.
and I like the men who've been getting put on trial because the person that they went and killed the person that raped and abused and beat their daughter and all this crap. I'm like, you know what? I don't know why they're facing time in jail. Like, yes, I get it. They killed somebody, but did they really get rid of somebody that was so bad? Like, in all honesty, I don't know. I guess I have a really twisted way of seeing that because
What's up,
I
Bill?
can tell you what, as a mother and a female, if somebody attacked, assaulted, raped, hurt, beat, abused, and drugged my child, you better pray the
Mhm.
police get you before I do. Like, that is all that has to be said, because Mama Bear's
Most-
coming out in full effect, and that is all that is happening.
Yeah, I think most people
That's
feel
right.
that
She
way.
didn't. Yeah, she didn't spend. If I remember correctly, she didn't spend too much time in jail because she. Oh yeah, that's right. She straight up shot that guy as he was walking in the courthouse.
I mean, it would have had to
Yeah,
have been
I remember
before the
that.
courthouse, because there's no way of getting the gun in there. But the thing that throws me is like all the men that are seeing jail time for defending or
Being
I
a
guess-
vigilante, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for like their daughters or something. Like, dude, if that
Yeah.
were me, I would be the same way.
Yeah, vigilante justice is people look down on it, but I don't know. That's why I like
I
the
fucking
Punisher so
promote
much.
it.
know.
Batman,
Yeah.
the Punisher, by all means, handle your shit.
Y'all remember the movie Monster with Charlie Theron?
Mhm.
Okay, I am gonna butcher her name, but Monster.
For
Um,
yeah, for Elaine.
Oh yeah. Elaine Werlow.
You butchered it now.
Elaine.
But see, that's another famous woman, the serial killer.
It's because there's not many. That have
Because
been
Yeah,
caught.
there's.
Because
That
we're
have been
smarter
caught.
and we don't get caught.
What's the name of the girl that the Borden murders? Lizzie Borden, right?
Lizzie Borden.
Izzy
I remember
Borden,
that
yeah.
one too.
Lizzie, you know that if you ever really study that case of
That's
Lizzie
wild.
Borden, it's crazy because many think she didn't do it, and there's a theory that it was a traveler, a vagabond who did it, but you know what? I think those are the ones that fascinate me because she was not persecuted for it. She lived to be like in her 80s. I mean, she died old,
Lethal Injection,
but
2002.
she
There's
got
a lot
away
of
with it.
motive on her part for that case. It's the,
Oh,
yeah.
there was a lot
And
of
her
money,
sister. Yeah.
abuse. Her sister, she was supposedly
Yeah.
sexually abused by
Yeah.
her father. She just took it out. There's a huge list of female
That's
serial
true. I'm
killers.
actually watching it right
murder.
now. On the top 10, right? I'm looking at the top 10. 4 of those are people that killed old folks at old folks' home. So I'm not trying to imply nothing, guys. I know we're sorry, but just
Oh, those
American
those are
female
like the
serial killer. Velma Barfield is actually ranked up there, and somebody mentioned her. Thomas mentioned her earlier. Clementine Barbette. Well, I mean, okay, so if we're gonna talk about the old folks' home, let's talk. I have to do it. I have to bring it up. So Jack the Ripper. Okay, let's talk about
Okay.
this. Now, who
Oh, yeah,
in a
they
million years would have thought that man would be caught because he left a little tiny shred of evidence, turned himself into a psycho ward, and died there? Not ever being caught or arrested. He turned himself in to a psycho ward and died there.
but we won't know why. Do we think he turned himself in due
No,
to guilt?
I think he did it as a plan to get away with it, never be caught, on the fact that he thought he would, like, if he assumed that he was going insane or something was wrong, if he turned himself, and the only reason I say this is because, like, in my mindset, this is what I would do. If you're getting away with 5 murders in the worst way possible, and I mean, he butchered those women, and we all know that he did, hence the name Jack the Ripper. He doing the things that he did, getting away with it, and then being like, you know what? I'm going to go live peacefully in a psych ward and die there. And he did. And he never got caught for anything.
It is pretty genius. It is pretty genius. Let's be honest. Especially during that time when forensics was at its minimal. If I check myself into an asylum and pretend to be insane and be committed, and it's not prison, that's an insane. It's a little different. It's a little bit. They treat you a little bit different. No one would ever think about looking for a killer
they did
in an
it for a
asylum
long
setting.
time. They didn't look in mental institutions.
No, they didn't. And he was, and to make it even better, he was a barber.
Wild.
You didn't know that? He was a
That
barber,
is
which is why he was
that
such
is
a
Yeah.
good blade.
Yeah.
now I will say that is true. Two things, Billy, 100%. How many? Imagine if in the 1800s they had the technology
Oh,
that we
man.
have now, they would have caught
Yeah.
people left and right. And Normandy, you are absolutely correct. The insane asylums back in the day, they would do shock therapy, they would do water
Yes,
therapy,
But
they
you were
would,
There was
in
you know,
England.
torture.
so
You were in England, and if you are a psychopath, you're engaging in those things, and they would only do those types of therapies on you if you were given reason to do them, if you were showing signs that had to be corrected. If you
So
were
he
a good
probably-
enough place to act that way, you were going to get
Yeah.
yourself without having to do that very
Plus,
often.
he was 23 years old when that happened. So
who
shit,
who was 23
his
years old?
name was Aaron Kaminsky, the barber that the one
Yeah.
that killed.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Wait, that
And he
fucker was only
died in
23 years
his
old?
70s or 80s.
So he
died.
committed himself when he was 23?
hmm
Hmm.
So he was doing this that young?
He was a barber.
Oh, you know what?
It's
And
He
was-
came
he was
over
pro-
from the country. He came over from another country, and he was a. I mean, to be fair, he was smart enough to get away with it. Eventually, he left a piece of evidence. You know, they found 100 years later, and he was doing it to prostitutes, which nobody was really going to miss. What do you think
he must
about
have
it?
been he must have been a pretty decent chap for the prostitutes to go, hey, good looking.
I
But
mean,
then
I don't know.
again, they would say, hey, good looking to anybody who had money. So
Pretty
it doesn't
much.
fucking really
You're
matter.
talking
I
about
don't
like
think
the
there was-
late 1800s. Like,
We're talking
Yeah, I don't think they
1800s.
vet anybody. They just took
No.
who came.
They didn't vet they didn't vet anybody. So let me ask you a question. Shannon, since you read the book and you had the facts. If they went based on what evidence did they find that what was it?
they found a piece of, I want to say a piece of cloth with his DNA and one of the criminals' DNAs on it. Blood.
Okay. So my
100
question
years
is
later.
But my question is, they had to compare that to something else, another database. How did they compare that blood into the database that contained his DNA? How did they make the connection?
Relatives of his.
Yeah, like Ancestry, they can do a lot
Yes.
of like.
But
Oh, that's
to be
right.
there's that, and also even back then, there's going to be things that have your DNA hooked into them that they could still analog, fingerprints and stuff like that can be saved. It's just, I mean, because like he died later on. It wasn't like super like he was what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Billy, I miss prostitutes. Remember those days, Billy?
Oh. That's awful.
Yeah, it is true. Poison was very popular back then. And if you watch any of the murder shows that Mandy and I watch, the most popular poison, and see if you read my mind, Mandy,
Rat
is it's
Anthrax.
fucking it's did you say Carfax?
Anthrax.
Oh, Anthrax.
Oh, anthrax. No, that's not that easy to
Anthrax
find.
is not a poison.
Easy
like
to
that.
find.
It's,
Jesus, Dale. This is why you'll get caught in
we're
3
not
minutes.
in war.
No. It's, you know what it is? It's antifreeze.
Oh, I thought we said lead.
Antifreeze, because it's odorless, but you have to ingest it's a slow burn. You would have to ingest a lot of it, and they mix it in like sodas and stuff
But
like
that's why
that.
you did rat poison, because it was a faster kill.
See?
Yeah.
Still odorless, but most women would use it in like cooking it for their husbands and their food. That type of thing.
Aquatofana. You guys don't know what that is?
Aquafina? The water?
Aquatofana. No, they put it in like little vials and perfume bottles back in the day before they had and it was a poison, but it was used a lot. And I think it came from like a flower or something, so it was organic poison.
It's like oleanders are also very poisonous. I mean, there's a lot of poisonous plants out there, but you have to use a lot of it and
Or
mass
green.
quantities.
Ooh, it
Yeah.
depends on the poison
Yeah.
and what's coming from it and where you get it from. Like there's
Yeah. Green
there's a
jello
lot
is
of
also
different
a good
types
one.
of things that you could see, and this
I'm
is what's
so
wrong with me.
grateful we have toxicology
So-
now.
Yeah.
So they're talking about female murderers, right? One of the biggest murderers in history was Mary Antoinette, correct?
She was not a
killed-
murderer.
She wasn't a
No.
murderer. She was.
She
like,
got beheaded.
beheaded.
but not a
What-
murder. She was
She was the most famous person to be beheaded.
No, she was the one that would kill her slaves or whatever, her servants.
no fool. You're talking about Bloody Mary. You're talking about Mary. Her name is Mary Bath. Mary
Oh.
Bath. Is it?
Let me see.
No.
It's
Bath-
something bad.
It starts with a
Bath.
B. Yeah,
Starts
yeah,
with a B.
yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was scared. She drank like the blood and bathed in the blood of.
No, she didn't drink. She did bathe in it.
Well, she drank it because she thought it made her
More
Young.
youthful.
younger.
Yeah.
Useful.
Mary Delphine McCarty. There we go.
No, I think it's Mary Bathory. I think it is.
Bathory. Yeah, that's the last name. That's
I
such
don't know
a
what
creepy.
list.
No, I'm actually looking up now.
So
Yeah,
Marie Antoinette was never a murderer. She was accused of being promiscuous.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Shannon, don't
that's
listen
the
to
reason-
Dell.
That's the reason that she was beheaded. I'm like, she was the queen. Come on.
Don't-
Get your ass over there.
Don't listen to Dell. Don't listen to Dell.
You know who
Because-
I find super fascinating and creeps me out is H.H. Holmes with the murder hotel and all he
Yeah.
I
had
want
like
to
all
go
the,
there.
all the booby trapped like
mean,
he
this-
had
this-
secret passageways and
This guy,
Scared.
H.H. Holmes, he built. Think about it. Let's truly think about this. This son of a bitch built a hotel with the sole purpose of gassing people, trapdoors, making them completely disappear, and then renting the rooms out again. It's
so scary.
it is
Okay,
the wackiest
to be
thing.
fair,
Yeah.
this man was far above just that. So
Well-
he was engaged in quite a few things, actually.
The bloody
Uh,
bitches.
Insurance fraud, forgery, swindling, bigamous marriages, horse theft, and murder.
Gateway drug.
He was
Tells you.
known as the Beast of Chicago, the
Beast of
Devil in the
Chicago.
White City, or the Torture Doctor.
Scary.
I many people, believe it or not, at one point thought that he was Jack the Ripper. And
Yeah.
he just came here.
Which is
he
weird
just-
because he's at the same time, which is funny because he was doing this shit before Jack the Ripper. So I don't know why they would think that. The times
It
don't
was
add
the
up.
international. They were saying like when he would leave to go internationally,
the murder
that there
stopped.
were murder. Yeah, there was like a crossover
Yeah.
in him traveling or something.
I-
But that was it.
Okay, but it like I'm saying, they don't add up because this person he died in 1896. Jack the Ripper didn't start until 88, and it was in London, and he was going until 94. So the time frame doesn't add up for that to even be plausible,
Interesting.
especially if there is a hotel involved. Like that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, it's just those theories that people always come up with because they always want to be the one to solve it all. But H.H. Holmes, as a matter of fact, they were planning on doing I thought they were going to do a movie on it,
Mhm.
starring the Pirates of the Caribbean guy, Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
which I thought he was
Pirates
going
of
to.
the Caribbean guy.
I thought he was going to be, but they fell through. But an H.H. Holmes movie would be fascinating because, like Billy said, it's a fascinating story.
Oh
It's-
my God, this
It
dude
is-
was a genius. He went to
It's creepy.
University of
It's really
Vermont and University of Michigan.
Well, to construct like trap doors and and have these like gas rooms. So he knocks out their victims, and he goes and drags them out and puts them in a chute and all that stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, H.H. Holmes is what's H.H. stand for?
It's not
You guys,
his name. It's Herman.
Herman.
Herman Webster Mudgett.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a
so
name.
why?
What a name.
Wait a minute. So where
Herman?
did they get H?
Howard Holmes, better known
Howard
as Dr.
Holmes.
Henry Howard
Okay.
Holmes or H.H. Holmes, because he was such again, murderer, genius. There's that line.
His name was what? Howard what? Herman
His
Howard?
name, okay, he was better known as Dr. Henry Howard Holmes.
Henry
H.
Howard.
An alias.
Holmes.
That was his alias. It's crazy. I'm reading it right now.
Wow.
Well, yeah, he was a murderer with a double fucking doctrine.
Well, I'm
He
gonna
was
be
a
CC. I'm gonna be
genius.
CC Morales. That's what I want to be. Just sounds good. So what's another one, another murder mystery that really also fascinates me is the Visalia murders.
Those
Right,
are
everyone-
really, really interesting.
Now, for those who don't remember, is it Visalia? Visalia?
I don't
It's
know.
up. Oh, well, I don't live in LA anymore. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I
it's up
don't eat.
north.
I never. Yeah.
It's going up like towards San Francisco, Sacramento. It's northern California. And this was the one you guys might have heard where they discovered a whole family that was butchered with an axe,
Mhm.
including the kids.
Mhm.
There was a friend of the kid who was staying over the night. That little girl got hacked, and they never caught the person. Those are the ones that fascinate me, even though I hate unsolved murders. I kind of do. It's the old school ones that really do fascinate me because, like Billy was saying, your forensics. There wasn't any forensics. You either had a murder weapon or you don't.
Yeah.
And even if you had fingerprints, you had nothing to compare it to. I mean, it's so weird and almost fascinating that people literally got away with murder. That's why nowadays you got to be pretty damn good to get away with murder. Everyone has a camera. Everyone has cameras mounted on their house.
Yeah.
Fucking Teslas have cameras that's pointing all the single time. I mean, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
And for you to think that you can get away with murder, and not only that, they have the forensics now that they could pick up dust from rocks, from anything that will tie you to you would have to
the GPS. They pinpoint everything. Everything's on social media.
on cell towers that will ping your phone if it's on. It's
yet-
the most
There's still ways of doing it.
I mean,
Shannon, the way you say it, Shannon, it's kind of scary.
yeah, it's a little
but
creepy.
yet they haven't caught me. That's what I hear when you say
I've
that.
done nothing.
What's up, J Rob?
All I'm saying is that there are still ways of doing it. There are still ways of getting away with it. Otherwise, there would still be no unsolved mysteries.
Well,
That's all I'm saying.
let's put it this way. Not saying that you can't get away with it, but it would be pretty damn hard for you to get away with it. And that's only if you actually murder someone who will not care if you're missing. That's why back in those days when they would murder prostitutes, because they would say nobody cared about them, right? They were faceless women that, whenever you see a lot of these murder shows and they find the serial killers, and that's why a lot of times they find all these pictures because they would take trophy pictures of their victims or whatever like that. And they were like, do you know who this is? Do you know who this is? Because they ran away at 14. They have their parents disowned them, whatever it is. And that's why they went after those people, because they were not going to be tracked. It's just, it's poor prostitutes get a bad name, man. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you could be a poor prostitute. I mean, to be fair, look, this is a perfect example. O.J. Simpson got away with murder. He got away with it in court. For years, he was in court, got away with it. Years later, dumb enough to write a book about it, admitting his fault. But because he'd already been convicted, you can't reconvict unless you have new evidence to prove otherwise. And then he died. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. But he didn't admit to it, which is just sad. Who does that? He's like, you know what? I'm going to brag about the fact that I got away with murder. Like, it still happens. You just either have to have somebody smarter than the other person, or you have to be smarter than to know how to tamper with something.
Well,
I
let's
think he was
also.
that smart. I really do think he got lucky. I don't think he was that smart.
It wasn't
No.
him that was smart. It was his lawyer. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The Kardashian.
Yeah.
He was.
He
Mr.
was not.
Kardashian himself was a fucking hell of a lawyer.
You can
Hell
say
of
that
a lawyer.
OJ created two things that were, like, he killed somebody and then he made the Kardashians famous for no reason. So
I don't know if he did that. I think Kim's tape did that.
No.
they were already.
He made Kardashian famous for who he was in the industry, marrying who he did, and then Kim helped along. I don't have any respect for the Kardashians. So I don't really give a shit.
You know who did? You know who made the Kardashians famous? Ray J. That's who fucking made Kardashians famous.
There you go. I agree.
Oh my god,
100% agree.
Jackass in person. Let me.
I
tell
agree.
You, met
Yup.
him, seen him, douchebag.
You forgot Paris Hilton also helped that out in the beginning.
That's true. That's true. Kim gives. Yeah.
But you also have to remember that back in when was the murders? 1995 was the O.J. Simpson murder?
I don't know if it was that late or early. I thought it was a little later than
93? No, because I don't think I was married yet to my first.
on.
I wasn't married to Voldemort yet. So
that.
was.
It was.
Mandy loves that one.
I do.
1995.
Yeah.
Oh, so was I right? Okay, cool. So in 1985, forensic was just starting,
Oh man.
just like it was just on the tier of getting there. So if they had today's technology back in 1995,
Double Jeopardy. Woohoo. Sorry.
you know, all for it. Let's be honest, right? If they had today's technology in 1995, when the OJ murders happened, that fool would have been done.
But what also helped was a couple of years before the Rodney King trial also happened. So there was racial tension. It was like, if you're gonna, convict this black man, you need to have all the evidence in the world. But
it played a huge. Yeah.
I remember because I lived in LA when all this happened. It was the Rodney King thing and the OJ thing. What a weird time to be in LA, because it was like you had a curfew, you can't be in the streets, everyone's fucking burning the place down, and then OJ.
They do that now.
I know, and openly, by the way, openly.
Yeah. Your team won a championship. Let's burn and torture our city. Like, I don't fucking get it. Why would you do that?
Not only that, but let's burn down the same liquor store I go to every morning.
Right? You're like, where's the self-preservation here?
It's like it's anyways. That this society's fucked up.
Yeah.
So
Belladonna.
who's Belladonna?
I'm reading side notes when we were talking about different poisons that could kill you. Somebody put belladonna, and a lot of Wiccans or pagans use that for relaxation and to sleep. But if you use too much of it, it is a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, just like many things, too much of it. If you eat too many cherries, it could be a poison. So I mean, it's it's one of those things that
only if you eat the ones out of formaldehyde, and that would take a fucking shit ton. If you eat natural cherries, it's not the case.
How is it apples? The seeds of apples dangerous too?
What?
The seeds of apples.
They have
They
cyanide.
used to say that if you swallowed one, you'd grow one in your stomach.
Cyanide.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You mean you don't? I'm just saying, if you eat too many cherries, trust me, you're gonna want to die once you're sitting on the toilet.
Formaldehyde.
That is
no
there's
joke.
facts.
Why I don't eat cherries?
No, it's one of those things. But so one of the other things that these murder shows have taught me, when the husband or wife dies, right away the first person they look at is the spouse. right?
Yeah.
That's the number
Spouse
one
and
thing.
best friend,
Okay, we get
always.
that, right? Spouse, best friend, and it depends how old the child is, maybe the child, right? The son
And
or
if they
whatever.
had an affair, because
There is.
affairs are gateway drugs to homicide.
Right. So this is the thing. This is where I'm getting at. Do not, and I repeat, if you decide to murder your spouse, don't go 2 days later and cash the insurance and ask about the insurance money. That to me, I have heard and I have seen so many TV
How they get
shows,
caught.
murder shows where they go the next day calling saying, "How soon can I get my husband's or my wife's insurance?" And not only that, the on top of she put another $150,000 insurance on her husband without him
Yeah,
knowing, or they opened all these insurance,
it is.
and then you expect to get away
It
with
is
it?
like the number one giveaway. You're like, really? Like, are you that dumb?
I
But-
wouldn't do that shit. I'd be like, I'd patiently wait for my check.
And that's why we gotta make sure we protect Shannon from everybody.
You're gonna have to get her a good lawyer.
With that being said, it's
I'm
24
telling
hours
you.
for me, guys.
What?
I
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Bye, Del.
All right, Del.
Bye.
We'll see you later, pal. We'll catch you next week,
I
man.
tell you, I say these things because then I can't inflict anything because then nobody can hold me accountable for anything. It's just talk. Doesn't mean anything. It's fine.
Well, you know what? Once my wife finds out that Shannon opened an insurance claim under my name, she's going to be very upset.
I have insurance claims
So-
on my husband. We both, me and my husband both have a fat life insurance policy on each other.
That's extra motive.
Wow.
Scary.
Not really.
That's
We
good to
set him
know.
up that high strictly for the kids purposely. Like if something happens to one of us, we wanted to make sure that we could like pay off the house and like the cars if there were any, and then have the extra money to help build them up. So that was the whole thing. I don't need that kind of motive because for me to want that, he would have to have money in the first place to do that. And in my mindset, most of the time when people do that kind of thing, it's not just for the insurance policies because they have money plus an insurance policy that gets them more. They're greed. It's a greed thing that goes after them. I don't have that. I don't need that. So in my mind, that's the work.
Yeah, you know.
You wait the oh my gosh.
So Mandy made a point. So murder of husband and spouse, since we're talking about that topic. Yes, insurance, right? Money, greed is one. And two, affairs, jealousy, whatever it is. I never understood the why don't you just divorce and then do what the hell you ever want, and then you end up being, who gets murdered here though, right? Does the husband or the wife murder you because you're cheating, or do they murder the guy or the woman who you're cheating
both.
with because they knew that you
Or
were?
both.
It does happen both ways for sure. You can't say it doesn't. But from all, I mean, I watch these shows daily. From statistically, it's the one who cheats because they want everything. They don't just want the new partner. They want the assets, or it has to do with the kids and custody. So it's usually the one who cheats is the one who ends up murdering.
I saw one, and Mandy, you probably saw this one, where the woman killed her husband because she had a gambling addiction.
Oh no.
She had a gambling addiction and she blew all their money.
Oh no.
I feel like I've seen
Okay.
something about that.
We're talking about casinos and all that, but she would also gamble on her phone and like use real
That's
money, one of those
scary.
things,
Yeah.
right? And she blew by all the things. Husband had no idea. Everything was perfectly fine, right? But she blew it, and then she basically shot him while he was asleep with the
Oh my
shotgun.
gosh.
And she did it while the kid was in the car. She said, "I'll be
Oh my
right back,"
gosh.
and left the kid in the car. Went in the house, shot him while he was laying in bed sleeping because he worked like the night shift or something
Wow.
like that. And then she went and hid the gun I don't know, like down the road, like off the road or something like that, because she wanted that money because she wanted to continue gambling and live that lifestyle. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that sucks. This poor sap is working. He's a husband. He has kids and all that. He's working to support the family, and this chick's like playing Candy Crush with real money, and next thing you know, you're getting blasted in the head because she wants.
But does she
more
have
money.
like a Rolodex of husbands? Because that gambling habit doesn't go away. Like once the husband's gone, she's gonna blow through that money. She get another one. Like she end up. I don't know. Like it just. I don't understand.
Well, and this leads me to this: those women, and no offense, my golden oldies, but those women who marry 6, 7 times, and all their husbands mysteriously died of this, died of that, died of some kind of fall, some kind of poison. He ingested something, and she just never got convicted until later on in their lives. They do something stupid.
They always mess up.
And then
Abby, that's fucking,
and
or
then they
whoever
check.
Mr. K is, that's factual. You're very, very, very right on the things that you were saying.
I say the reason why they don't divorce is because 1, they don't want to share, and 2, because they can't have that person. No one can.
Ugh.
We had a San Antonio cop kill his wife and his ex-man and try to kill. Yeah, it is true. Fidel Lopez from Florida, one of the most brutal ways to kill someone I've ever heard. Yeah, we strike a nerve with these murder shows. What do you guys think about these? And this is an interesting dynamic. I just finished right before I came in here. There's a show that we watch called Evil Lives Here.
That's good.
Amanda, you've
good
seen
show.
it. Okay. And 9 out of 10 times, the woman, and I'm going to say woman because normally it's the man who's a monster, that they get, and this leads into another thing, but I'm just going to gloss over where they know it's wrong. They know the man they're with is fucked up. He's evil. He's already choked her out 3 times. She kicks him out of the house, and then she takes him back 10 days later. And the number one reason that they say is, we're going to work it out.
No, it's
Do you
fear.
think it's fear? It's
It's
got to
fear.
be fear.
It has
to be.
to be fear,
That doesn't
because
even.
any person will go, why would he beat the shit out of me 3 times and choked me to the point where I knocked out, and I had cops involved, and but then I took him back 10 days later.
Because
because he said
restraining
something.
orders for women, I mean, as soon as you file a restraining order in those DV situations, they trigger. They end up going really badly, and usually the female ends up in a homicide. So unfortunately, I think and when kids are involved, and I don't have any kids, but I would imagine if kids are involved, you would think naturally you would just remove yourself from that situation. The problem is, for some people, they don't have the means to do that. And even if there's a place that can help them, they're usually found pretty quickly by who's after them. And the kids end up usually getting caught in the crossfire. So
Have you seen that one,
what,
Mandy?
The Staircase. Oh, I've been wanting to watch that. It looks so fascinating.
It's a documentary, right? So documentaries are good. Yeah, it's because we have been conditioned to believe we can't live.
Yeah, it's a
without
lot of
him.
brainwashing.
And it's the one of the things this woman on the show I just watched, she said when she first met this guy, he treated her like no man has ever treated her. And she purposely said, the reason why I stayed with him is because I never thought I would find another man like this again.
They call that love bombing.
Love bombing? Well, where you just give him so much attention
Up
that
front,
You
right
manipulate
away.
the situation. It's love bomb. It's manipulating the situation to psychologically alter their way of
Groom.
thinking to believe that they will get no one better than what you have. And the reason that I know this is because I've been in the situation. So I'm very much aware when you talk about this, it hits a
Yeah.
sore spot.
Sorry.
I've been there. No,
Wow.
don't be. I lived
Same.
and learned, and I'm a big girl, and I absolutely been in situations where I've been in relationships where I've had my ass whooped. I only went back once, but I watched my mom go through it.
Same.
Multiple marriages, even to the length of being on the phone with the cops with a shotgun in her hand, telling them if he comes after her again, she's going to shoot, but not to kill, just to wound, to put him down,
To
because he
protect.
had already broken a rib in her wrist.
Yeah.
And she
I think
did.
most
She wasn't
women
convicted.
have gone through
You-
something. Sadly,
you-
most women.
Oh, I've watched my mom go through. I mean, she was married 5 times, and only one of them was normal.
Oh,
Out of the 5, only one was normal. One was not abusive. One was normal. Which
What is it? I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole. I was gonna say the pattern, the pattern that women and men. Let's be honest. I think it's more common with women than it is
Yeah.
for men. But the that toxicity that they're drawn to without them really
because you
realizing
hope
that
the
they're being
next one is
drawn
better.
to.
You hope the next one isn't going to be that person. You have hope in trying to look for signs of being the past. Now, the difference in all that is that everybody has different, like, there's always going to be little key elements to register to you of, no, this guy's an asshole, or there's a red flag, and this and that. Sometimes my mom did the things that she did out of desperation. It wasn't because she wanted to or she needed. She did it out of desperation, and I understand her motives for it. I was around for it. It sucked. I watched it. It is what it is. Me, I looked at it as I started cautiously watching fast, which is why I didn't get married till I was 29 years old, which is why I swore up and down when I did it. I was doing this shit once and once only. And I will have been married for almost 16 years here coming up this month. So it is not something I took lightly. It is not something I will ever put myself through again if I ever am not with Ryan, which I don't ever see that happening. But if that day ever did come, I'm never getting married again. I'm not putting myself through the scrutiny of having to find a relationship and having to check for red flags and seeing if they're an asshole, if they're going to be abusive, or if they're going to try and take my money or whatever the case. Like, I don't got time for that shit. I'm done. So it's just a pattern where people, you hope to see different things in other people, or some people are so naive that they want to see the good and they don't want to see the bad right away. You don't see those red flags. You see the good in them. Most of them come off so good in the beginning, and it's loving and compassionate and caring. You're like, this one's different. This is going to be it. And then it takes something becoming official, like an engagement or a pregnancy or something like that, where it flips a switch in their mind. Like I can say with one of mine, it was great until the day we found out I was pregnant. And within that week is when he started hitting me. And it was always from the neck down so that nobody else would see the bruises. So it's and this was long before Ryan, before Ryan. I obviously didn't have that child. But like he was normal until that moment. Like there's just always weird things for women to see or not see in the beginning.
Well, it's from what I would see is where the men, in this case we're talking about men, or we can say women, they wait for that moment because they're so comfortable with you, right? Like you said, because all these shows, and once again, Mandy will attest to this, all these shows are, and then one day.
It's always
right. And then whatever. And it's always, we were at a barbecue for a neighbor and he saw me talking to this other neighbor. And I looked at him and I saw a look I've never seen before. Right. And then, so you're thinking to yourself, as you're watching the show going, all right, you never knew he was jealous. And no, but all of a sudden, just that one moment, It's the jealousy thing. So that's another thing that's part of this. That's a drive for murder is jealousy, and it all goes back to the if I can't have
Oh,
you, no
yeah.
one will. I never understood that concept. My thing is, if I can't have you, let somebody else, some other poor soul have you, because I don't, I don't care. Listen, people are complicated,
Yeah.
right? Humans are the most complicated species. That's why people love dogs and cats, because they just will lick you and love you and
They're
loyal,
devoted to you.
and they eat and they poop and they lick their own nuts, and they just look at you and then they don't care. Humans complicate things, and that's why it's very hard. That's why it's not an easy thing to find that person you're with that you're compatible with, that doesn't bring drama. That's why that's why this is my second marriage, and I would never remarry. I would be that single guy for the rest of my life, and just that's it, because I would never marry again. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that
Yep. Just that.
right. It's the then when the older you get, and our nursing friends will know, it's all right already. Just please feed me my fucking Jello and put on the comic menu, and that's all I want in my life, right? So I understand it, but the violent tendency that is sparked by certain things, jealousy, money, greed, stress. Shannon and I were talking about stress earlier. Listen, Billy, if I could lick my own nuts, I would never leave the house. I'm just saying
Most
that
men
right
wouldn't.
now. I would be a
You're
hermit.
not hearing this?
So
No, I'm kind of glad.
what's that? So jealousy can be very dangerous, and even
Yeah.
Not
even.
You know what? And
is.
it
Jealousy is
is.
That's why it's a sin.
Women, and that's now let's bring the women to the mix. We've been talking about men. A lot of women are just now. Men are weird. Men are just that I'm gonna groom you and do this and that. Then one day turn on you. Women are just batshit crazy. Some can just be straight up 100% on date one.
Absolutely.
I've heard stories.
Date one of sitting at a Tinder date or whatever it is, and you're having dinner, and all of a sudden they just say some crazy shit or do something, whatever it is. If we're smart enough, you go, check please, thank you, lose my number, or I'll call you, and then that's even more crazy. Why haven't you called? What's going on? Have you called me? Are we going out again? Are we going on? Hey, do you not like me? Did you like the hair under my armpits? What's going on? I thought whatever it is.
Mhm.
And that's why guys are like, I'm never going to be in a relationship because women are crazy, right? Caesar, we have a bevy of young
silver-haired women who would love to have you.
I love that.
Well, listen. I tell you what, buy me comics and I'm yours forever. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to make a shirt that says that.
Buy me comics. Why you don't read them?
I hope she's. I hope she's
I was
not
like,
watching the show.
yeah. I was like, your wife's gonna be like, excuse me a minute.
Pardon?
You can have.
I'm gonna take a picture and send it to her. It's fine.
Pardon. Okay, as humans, we can be the nicest, the quietest, chilliest, the chillest person, and then suddenly snap and become
yes,
homicidal.
but there are many things that can trigger that other than just jealousy or anything like that. Like, like I was saying earlier, Mama Bear could come out and me, fuck with my family and find out. I am a true Gen X, fuck around and find out human. Like, I dare you.
I agree with Billy. What's with this destroying the man's car? Is it because they know they love that car?
I never
your car
that, so
unless
I
you're
don't
in it.
I don't understand that.
No,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna do,
I like how Bill is
something-
just
okay.
Bill's like, just punch
No,
me in the
if I'm
face.
gonna do something to a guy's car, I'm gonna make sure your ass is in it and you feel it too. Like, don't give me this shit. I'm not gonna break your windshield. I'm gonna blow it up. Like,
So funny.
that's the dumbest shit. I'm gonna key your
Prob-
car. Does that
I
make
think
you feel
it's
better?
because cars don't punch back, and I do think
Maybe, but usually with men, their cars are their babies. So if a woman
Right.
attacks that, she knows she's attacking something that he values and appreciates when he wasn't
Yes.
doing it to her. So
but in the
that's-
moment the cars don't punch back. So I think it's
Oh, yeah.
easier to go after the car and then run away.
I've made it so Felicia says I'm getting older to them. My patience are way shorter.
Oh,
for me,
Felicia,
Yeah.
sweetie, I hate people. Hate them. Hate people. Hate and I'm in the comic industry.
And she
I
deals
deal
with people.
them, but I was in the restaurant industry for decades. So when I say I hate people, it's because you have an established relationship with life. You have a
Aw.
relationship with, you put on a show for people to see, and you act like a behaved human when you have to until someone crosses the line. But then, to everybody else, your closest friends, family, you fucking hate them. I can't stand people. They're so dumb and ignorant and oblivious to life. Like, social media is the downfall of life. I say it, I agree to it because I've seen what it's done to my kids, and I I hate social media with a passion.
I've made a conscious decision. I've talked about this before on the show that if I'm that guy that if I was to walk in with my girlfriend, my wife in bed with another man, I would stand there, look at them, and then just slowly close the door and leave, and not say a fucking word.
I'd say enjoy,
because I would let them. I would let their minds eat away to think of what I'm going to do next, and never do anything at all. And see, that's the ultimate torture. Is your own psyche will fuck you up.
Guilt. It's
Because
guilt.
it's so much easier to go, I'm out. I'm a divorce. Why am I gonna? Oh, we're gonna work it out. Oh, I caught you with his balls in his mouth. That's all right. We're gonna talk about it and work it
Yeah.
out. What? What are you talking about? I'm out. Take the house. Take the kids. I don't give a shit. I'll start all over again. I don't care. My life is worth more than I'm gonna try to plot and poison you with rat poison and
Now,
fucking,
that being
whatever it
said,
is.
what, you don't think that people in relationships who cheat can't work it out and move forward?
What? Sorry, I only caught the tail end of that.
No.
With
She's
that being
saying
said, you don't believe that relationships that have had adultery
Oh,
can
They
move
definitely
forward?
can. Yeah, both parties. If they're
they have.
committed, yeah,
Sure.
they can move past it.
If that's what it is. If they're
Committed.
both committed, right? If they both go, it was a momentary lapse of judgment. It was a one-time thing. Whatever. We were both drunk. You left. We were fighting.
I think that's definitely possible.
Okay, I think that's definitely. But if all of a sudden it's like, this is the fourth time I caught you with your pants down. You may. I don't think counseling is going to be the thing. When I went to counseling for my first marriage, we had marriage counseling, but they met you first individually before they get you together.
Done it.
And this is with Voldemort. And I went twice by myself or 3 times. On the third time, I got up. I'll never forget. I got up and I said, "So I'll see you next week." She goes, "No, I think we're good." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Yeah, I think you're done."
Oh, she knew. Yeah.
She told me, like, basically, if I bring her in, doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
done. I'm just gonna save you the time.
That's a good
I was
that's
like,
a good therapist.
oh.
That's a good doctor. They can see the
I was like,
signs.
all right, don't drag that shit off. Don't drag it. Don't do one of these, right?
But some people their
I don't care.
family, that's worth it for them to work and fight for. Others, not so much. I think it's just sort of fun.
Especially if you have, especially if you have like 3 kids, 2 kids, especially if they're 8 or 9, whatever it is. I get that. My daughter was 18 months, 16
Mhm.
months. She was
Tiny.
this tiny, she wouldn't know. Anyways, we're talking about murders and we're talking about famous murders and all that stuff. One thing I don't get is eating people after you kill them. So
Cannibalism.
that's one thing I can't. You know,
Ugh.
we talk about the ones who actually like, freeze dried and all that stuff and then cooked them. You hear about these stories where the cops bust into the house and the woman's making stew with like bones sticking out of it and all that stuff. That's a whole different level of
Pork legs.
Okay, so in my head, that part is just murder. Like that's the side that has a few loose strings in it that aren't quite attached. Because that's a whole. And I mean, cannibalism. Fucking, I love my red meat, but damn, I'll be damned if I'm gonna cook a human medium
Listen,
rare
if-
and like gobble it down and be like, yeah, that was tasty. Like, fuck off.
I'm sorry if I'm pulling out a class ring out of my mouth, after a bowl of
Ew.
something. First of all, I'm not going back to her house.
Ew.
That's one,
Ew.
right?
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
gag
eating there
in a
ever
minute.
again. Two, I'm going to resize that ring. I'm just telling you that right now. So, so this is the other thing, people.
That's
All
gross.
right. So back in the day, back in the 90s, we all know about the Lorena Bobbitt. You guys remember that story,
yeah.
right? Where she chopped
Yeah.
off his
And then
finger
threw it out the window.
And threw it out the window.
and then threw it out the
Yeah.
window.
The window while she was driving.
Now, if I remember correctly, he was cheating
Yeah.
on her or whatever. So he's the part of this case I never understood.
Wild.
If I'm sleeping and my wife rolls over, it wakes me up.
It doesn't do that to everybody, though.
No.
Sure. But if somebody took off my shorts or whatever and lifted my pee-pee and put a blade underneath it, I think I would probably feel something.
But did she
Maybe.
kind of seduce him? Like she was kind of playing into
I
it
think-
a little bit? Or did she just do it when he was sleeping?
I tell you what, right now, if a girl I'm with goes with the knife in a lingerie, I'm fucking jumping out that plate glass window. I'm telling
She
you that
just
right
had it. I think she was sneaky with it.
now. She did more than sneaky.
Yeah.
She did like choppy, slicey, and then threw it out the window. Listen, guys, be sympathetic to the man's junk. All right, it's pretty sensitive. That's why when you women ever get accosted or kick them straight in the nards, they'll fold faster than Superman on laundry day. Okay, I'm telling you that right now. But let alone put a blade and from what I understand, she did cut the whole thing off. She like nicked off
Yes,
the piece.
no, she cut it off and threw it. I'm reading it right now.
It was
The whole thing.
yeah.
She
Yeah. I mean,
She
that's
cut it
like
off
a
while-
cartilage.
but the
She cut it off with a kitchen knife while he slept.
Ginsu?
15 minutes away near Maplewood Drive was gravel
Yeah,
strewn
see?
field where she disposed of the detached penis out the driver's side window. Why did she throw it away, you ask? I tried to drive the car, obviously, but I had this thing in my hand, so I couldn't drive it, so I got rid of it.
I hope she wasn't driving a stick.
Quote unquote.
So he was asleep.
That's wild.
She said further down the road at the nail salon where she worked and fled for the night. She's like, I'm not a vindictive person. I told them where it was. The doctors reattached it.
They did do that. Yeah, good on them. But wow.
Wait a minute. I hope they washed it. It's all full of like pebbles and rocks. And
9.5 hour urological surgery.
Ew.
at that point, I'm just peeing through my ears.
And restored it to almost full function.
Really?
That's impressive. That is impressive for the doctors.
That is very impressive. I'm impressed. Can they add one to me? That's what I want to know. So look, it says right here, look up Asian women who cut off man's dick.
I'm
He
a
went to
little
the
scared.
hospital and had it
So-
reattached, and then she broke into the
Why?
hospital and cut it off again.
Why did she do it?
I don't know.
Well,
She was brutally raped by her husband that night.
Worth it. Worth it. If that,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would have cut. I would have cut off the
I would have
cojones
done
too.
like gators at that point. There's nothing to be
I'd be
reattached.
like, you know what, motherfucker, you're gonna wake up for this shit. Like, surprise! Like,
Wow. I would have shoved it down his throat
Oh yeah.
and then
That's a
taped
good
it.
one.
You know, it's see, it comes to show you people when you're pushed to the limit, you can do things that you never thought you can do. Right. This is the thing about the human nature. We are very capable of doing anything. And that's why you hear a lot of stories of he or she never ever showed any signs of violence, any signs of psychosis, any signs of anger, but all of a sudden I came home and he gutted the whole neighbor's yard from the whole neighbor's family because we don't know. We're very capable of doing anything. It's just a matter of, I don't know. Do you want to? I always had the fear of prison. Prison as a kid for me. I watched the original Scared Straight, the one from the 70s. Trust me, it scared my ass straight. I'm a believer. I'm not only the president. I'm not only one believer. I'm the president because I was scared shitless of prison. So I really did stay on the straight and narrow. I was afraid to do anything.
Me too.
There's
Same.
people out there who just don't give a shit. They just don't. And they'll do it in that rage and deal with the consequences later. Right.
Or
Now,
they
how
don't
long?
even think there's consequences, which is why.
Well, Shannon, you read it. How long did she do prison time?
she didn't do
Lorena
any.
Bobbitt.
She got acquitted for temporary insanity and found not guilty.
Okay, that's awesome. That's like win. That's awesome.
So meanwhile, this guy's walking around with a hole in his waist for a while, right? Until he got reattached.
Don't use it as a
And-
weapon.
They attached it that night, and you know what? He shouldn't have used it for abuse anyway.
Mhm.
So in my mind, he got exactly what he fucking deserved. Although I don't know that I would have told him where I threw it.
I know. That was
I'd be
Never,
like,
right?
have fun, grab the dogs, and have a search. Bye.
yeah.
I would throw in the meat grinder.
It would
Good
have
luck.
been a bone they could have found in the park. Like, who can find the bone first?
You said meat grinder.
Well, put it somewhere because they're never going to reattach that. You know what I mean? You have to go to the like Frankenstein, go to the cemetery and just pick some other dude's schlong, and just reattach it. But I want the little stitches like Frankenstein. I want the little,
Wow,
it's
for
all,
real.
it's all different color. All right. So, all right. So another famous murder that always makes now we talked about Ed Gein, right?
Mhm.
The
So,
sewing flesh into lamps and
So many people don't know this, but Ed Gein. So the movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off of Ed Gein's character, right?
Yeah.
This is a guy who very unassuming. I think he was a farmer.
Yep.
He was a farmer, had himself a little place, a little homestead. Dude was nuts. And those are the ones that I think if you were probably hear the interviews of he was such a nice man. He's so quiet. Gave the shirt off his back. Right. That's one. Or there's always he was very quiet, didn't talk to anyone, never, the lights were always off in the house. He this and that, or he was mean, he was cranky, he was this and that. It's never the balance. He was a cranky old man, but was also very nice.
Mhm.
You never
Yeah, but
get
how often do you describe somebody like that?
that. Me.
I don't describe you like that. I mean, I can start if you want me to. He's a
No, it's
great
okay.
cranky man. We love to hate him. Like
I always say you're crotchety,
Ah, that's nice. Yeah.
but
After
I
the
love
Bobbits,
you. Yeah,
after
I
the
love you,
after
but
the
you're
Bo-
crotchety.
after the Bobbit story, don't use the word crotchety. I'm
Do
just
your
saying.
giggles.
Do your giggles. So Ed Gein. Now, I would be interested if they do a movie. They said they're going to do an Ed Gein movie.
I think
Is
there's
it
gonna
movie
be
or
a movie or a
series?
series on him on Netflix because it's a part of Monsters. So that Netflix series Monsters that they did like the Menendez
so great.
brothers and then somebody
Oh.
else. They're doing
Gotcha.
he's doing season 3.
It's gonna be so scary.
Is the season is one whole season based on one character?
I believe so, yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I did watch
Because I need
did
to watch
recently-
it now.
I did recently watch a lighthearted show on Netflix. If you guys want to do murder mysteries, it's called The Residents.
It's so good. It's like Clue.
It's like Clue. It's very
I
fun.
love
It's very
Clue.
Yeah,
it's very
me too.
fun. It's very fun. It's very lighthearted, and it if you like those murder mysteries, because Shannon, you like to try to figure these things out.
I do.
It's one of those. It's one of those. You're kind
Okay.
of like, where
have to-
basically everyone's a suspect. You know,
But it takes
literal.
place in the White House.
It takes
Okay,
place in the
but-
White House.
That's what makes them fun is like Knives Out, Glass Onion.
Yeah.
Those are all everyone's a suspect, but I can still
Yeah.
Ryan was so mad at me. I can nail that shit so fast. So fast.
No.
Oh,
But anyways, that's a
Sometimes-
good show.
that is a good.
It's twisted like that. I don't know.
I do appreciate. I gotta tell you, I do appreciate that. God, there are so many documentaries about murders. You have
So
when you
many.
have a channel called the ID Network or the ID channel. That's basically Disney Plus for murder show enthusiasts.
Really?
That's a lot of murder shows.
Maybe I
right?
should have
And
that
like
shit on in the background since I don't have time to watch things.
Well, it's one of those things that you can have it on the back on the background on the TV, but you'll end up what ends up happening, and Manny and I talked about this, is that there's so many shows that they repeat the same case over, and you're like, oh, I know about this case. I saw it on a different show, but
Yeah.
each show will dive a little deeper and
Reveal
maybe
new
add
facts and things. Yeah.
reveal new facts. Or what I like, my favorite shows is when they showed the interrogation room, the
Me
camera
too.
on there. I
Yeah.
love those because
Me too.
there's something about when they leave the room
Evil
and the way they
Ken.
react. You know,
People
Evil
will
Ken
learn
is another one. Yeah.
Tell on themselves by themselves. They'll be in a
They'll-
room
they'll-
in the corner, like rocking back and forth and completely tell on themselves. You're like, they're being videotaped.
Now I don't know if they're in the moment, but there's cameras in these interrogation rooms, and they're like, they'll deny everything, and the minute the detective leaves and the camera's rolling, they're rocking, going, "My life is ruined. I'm done. Why did I
Mhm.
do it?" And it's so whispered under their breath, but it's caught on camera. And then better yet, the youngins who murder, the high school students who murder their best friend or whatever, and they put them in a room together.
Oh,
And they start talking back and forth, and there's fucking cameras recording the whole thing. And I'm going,
that's good.
you know what? You were dumb as a young kid, and you're going to be dumb when you get older. And you know what?
Oh,
never
we know
once
that
said-
situation.
I never once as a kid ever thought to myself, I'm going to kill a friend of mine. I'm going to kill that kid.
JJ just went through that with a friend of his who died. Their friends
Oh,
actually
wow.
killed him, although they're claiming it was an accident. He was killed. They lied about it. The kid is now being tried as an adult, and he's 16.
Yikes.
I was like, well, that's what you get for lying about it.
Yeah.
how does that work when you're tried as an adult? Where do you go?
It's
You go to
exactly. where
prison. You go to a real.
Do
You go to a
Do,
real.
do you go to state at 16?
Yep. You're fresh meat.
Yep.
Oh, that kid's gonna grow up
Yeah.
real quick.
Yep.
Yep.
and nothing.
They've been
I
doing
gotta,
it more and more
Or
too.
he's gonna hurt himself real quick.
Yeah. They've been
Well,
doing it. They've been trying kids younger and younger as adults more and more, depending on the.
well, I'm
it's
sorry.
like-
The way I see it, if you're old enough to commit a murder or commit a crime that you basically knew you were doing, you're old enough to go in prison and have a cellmate who's 6'8". You
Yep.
know, that's just the way it is. You know, you're gonna be someone's
I
hand
agree.
puppet.
I
You know,
agree.
it's.
Better
I have
hold
no
that
problem with
pocket
that.
because you somebody's bitch.
Oh yeah, you're gonna pick up everyone's soap. I'm just saying. All right.
Yeah.
No,
So
you'll
that
only get claimed by one set that will protect you as long as you're theirs.
well,
And I mean, I sort of feel for the kid. They fucked up. It was a bad situation. Drugs were involved. It was sad.
That is sad.
you know, sometimes there's people who do bad things because they just either are peer pressured and they're just not bad kids, but at that very moment they make a bad decision and it's
Yep.
going to affect them for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
And I think that's what it is. And they also think, well, because I'm 15, 14, 16, I'm a juvenile. I'll go to juvie and I'll be out like that. Well, like
Yeah.
you said, nowadays they're trying these kids younger and younger
Mhm.
because then also depends which states you're in, right? Because some states
True.
don't give a fuck, right?
Billy.
They just
Billy, normally you are correct. They would stay in a juvenile facility until the age of 18 before transferring. But if you do something like that and you're tried and found guilty, the court can try you as an adult if they see fit and you can say nothing about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, Kansas is one of those states. You're
Oh,
gonna fuck around and find out. That's what's gonna happen.
my favorite videos is when they show the kid act all nice and tough, and then when they get arrested, he cries like a little bitch.
those are the
Those-
best.
There's something satisfying about the crying, and better yet, when they call for their mom, they're like literally mama, mommy, mama. But the videos before, they're like, "Fuck that! I don't give a fuck."
They're cocky and there's no
cocky.
remorse. Yeah.
I don't care about prison. I don't mind going to. Okay, great.
You will see.
Okay, people. So we're gonna start wrapping this up. But what I want to do is I want to start asking the people in the comments, because when we do this next month again,
We want to be better prepared.
we're gonna be
Yes.
better prepared. So I want to know from the comments, from the peanut gallery, what do you guys want to see? What do you guys want to hear next time we get together on next will be May. So what do you guys still want to see us talk about popular murders? You want more unsolved popular murders, old timey murders? You want to talk about the basics? You want to talk about certain murder cases in our hometowns?
Introduction to Murder 101.
Yeah. What do you guys want?
We don't want to
Professor
give
Chen in
tools.
there.
I'm not teaching class.
No.
Professor Kincaid, this is how you do it. You don't want to use bleach because it
I-
burns your skin.
Don't know what you're talking about. I know nothing of these things.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I just read it. I just read about them. I don't. It's not real.
Matter of fact, I haven't seen Ryan in a while. Now that I think about
Ryan is actually live right now on Whatnot in the next
Oh, okay.
room because I was drinking, so I made him drive over here.
So old murders. Okay. Oh, because let's be honest, old murders, and I'm talking about, we touched on a few of them, but you're saying like if we pick one like the Axe case in Visalia, like talk about more details, right? About it. Like what do they find? Especially the more updated stuff, because
Watch
They
the
know.
staircase between now and then. I can spend a month talking about just that case. It's fascinating.
all right, I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to.
I'm gonna watch it tonight because I'm like, ooh.
We
I
don't
won't.
care.
I'm gonna go pass
We
out
are
because we're
having
about
fun.
to get a really big storm. So I'm gonna go sleep through it.
Yeah.
But somebody messaged me that. So remember now, see, I'm really bad about watching new things because my time with shit is limited between
Okay,
work
well,
and home and kids sports, and my son's about to graduate high school.
Yeah, kids
I
stuff all
just-
the time.
I just want to.
Hurts
I
my
it's
soul.
for me, it's got to be something I got to watch with the missus. And luckily, I think murder shows were okay with that. So
You know what?
okay.
That's because
Mm.
every woman fantasizes and watches that shit because secretly she's plotting if you fuck up. Like, let's be honest.
See, I watch it to make sure I don't get murdered.
Well, and here's the funny part. So I read a meme the other day, and it's like, don't ever make a woman watch a movie with a dog that cries, but she'll watch murder mysteries and unsolved mysteries and all this just to relax and go to sleep at night. And I'm like, that's fucking factual because I hate when dogs die in movies. But I'm like, oh, a murder?
true.
Let's watch. Like,
It's true.
It's a fact. I tell you know what? I tell you what, Billy. Why don't you next time, Billy? Why don't we bring you on in our next show because Dell he dips after an hour, so we could bring you on, Billy, in our murder mystery hour 2-hour show. So not only am I going to have you on, Billy, next week because I promised I would have you on.
That'd be
Because he's like, I never get invited. So I'm gonna invite him for a bracket challenge next week, Billy. Don't forget that. And then a month from now, we'll have you back on and we'll do this murder show and we'll do it right.
Yes.
Local murders are good. Yes, local murders from our areas. All right.
I need to look into that.
I mean,
find
you
it more
guys
fascinating because
Dude, I bet because we have the Oregon Trail that goes right through downtown Kansas. So I bet there are
Yes.
some amazing old school ones. And I'm like, I'm gonna look into that now.
like serial
Yeah.
killers blamed it on dysentery, but it wasn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
What a cover up that is.
Right?
Yeah. All right, Billy. We'll
Prohibition, all that
pin you
shit
in.
was around here.
Yeah.
It's great.
That'd be interesting. That'd be fun.
So Billy, next week we'll have you on the show. You got that, and then next month we'll
And
have you
next
on.
month.
I know you're down. Okay, so maybe we'll look at that. Where the fuck did this hair come from? Son of
It's
a
Local
bitch.
Right.
murders. See, Mandy, local murders for you is gonna be different because Vegas is full
Oh
of
God.
mafia style,
I know.
all that shit.
We've had some stuff here in New Mexico ourselves. So we could
Yeah, you
we
got
could
a lot
do
of
that.
desert out there.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we for next month, and this includes you, Billy, why don't we choose a famous murder that's from your local area, and we'll talk about that case and all that stuff. So at least a little bit of homework.
Okay.
I know what's going to happen. We're going to jump on the show and say we didn't do shit. So that's what's
I'm
going to
gonna
end
do
up
this
happening.
one. I'm gonna do this one.
We're going to do this one.
Fuck yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. The Ozarks, please.
Oh,
I'm 4 hours away from the Ozarks, so like
that's a
I
good
believe it
location.
between the lake and the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys could also chime in. Abby, you have my email, and a couple of those guys have my email, and throw in some stories you want us to bring up. By all means, send me stuff. You guys already know my email, Dracula's Wolf, gmail.com. Not the real, just Dracula's Wolf at gmail.com. And we can read some of your stories on air, which is always fun.
Yeah.
I can even do voices for it.
Yeah.
Look at Maddie's all over it. I want to hear hello.
I was just gonna say Puss in Boots, and you're talking about like some sadistic killer.
Imagine hello. I killed 19 people.
I already found mine.
It's
Oh, okay, well, that was
terrible. I
easy.
shouldn't
That's very
laugh,
good.
but it's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So as always, we're gonna go around and have our little goodbyes and say all that good stuff. So
Oh yeah, we gotta
let's
do
go.
that.
With the most easiest one to start with is Mandy because she basically just pimps her man. Go ahead.
Pretty
Abby.
much.
I mean, Mandy.
I work for him. I'm the shipping department. So we usually do Tuesdays and Thursdays now, but we're gonna actually do tomorrow. We're doing a whatnot sale, probably 6:00. So if you just go to Murat Michaels, you can save his upcoming shows. We just basically bicker and banter with each other and sell comical books.
Comical books.
Yeah,
Everybody.
we're just silly.
Okay, that's good. Where's Murat? Is he there?
He's upstairs working.
Okay. All right.
Hi.
Hold on.
I'm like, look, I came big. So let's see. We are on Whatnot a lot. Ryan's on it right now. We will be on it possibly tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. We are working on working on our upcoming Kickstarter, which we haven't released anything about yet, but we are going to work on releasing it hopefully the beginning of May for Con Artist 6. And it's the famous comic book where we make fun of Comic Con. So what better thing to have? Con Artist 7 is also done, so that one will hopefully arrive a few months afterwards. What else? Oh, Ryan's doing a sketch sale Friday at Ryan M. Kincaid on Whatnot. For people who like original art on sketchbooks, he is notorious for that shit. We just released a new book on our website for Who Did It Better between him and Mike Crone. Actually, probably one of the closest cover mashups that we've done with beauty. Like, it's really hard to tell the difference. Thanks, Rebecca. I believe that's it for now.
Okay. All right. Dan, now you show up? Oh, come on, Dan.
Bye.
Jesus. Well, it wasn't about a comic show, Dan. Today was our first. We're not going to totally abandon the movie reviews. Just we're going to give it a nice little break because I got to tell you, nothing speaks more interest than murder, mystery, and cutting wieners off. There's something about that is fascinating. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch the show.
Bitch. Snip, snip.
Go back and watch the show. If I already captured if I intrigued you.
You talked about licking your own salty nuts.
And yeah, so that's gonna be the promo. Cutting your wee and licking salty nuts.
Oh my god.
If you don't want to know what I'm talking about, go check it out after the show. They'll be uploaded on YouTube. So you can still catch me on the Instagrams at The Real Dracula's Wolf. I'm still doing reels. Lately, even though with work, I'm still kind of busy. People are actually hitting me up to do some promo reels for their sales. So I got to do that because I'm limited time. I got to do it when I get off of work, and then I got to put things together, and I got to put my voiceover together, and all. Yeah. It's all the same shit.
I need to make him do one for Con Artist 6.
I'm telling you, I'm around, and I'm pretty cheap. I work for Salty Nuts. You had me at Wieners.
We'll just.
As a matter of fact, I got you on the next one. I didn't think about it.
We sent him
you
a
had
box
me at
of
Wieners.
toys.
Yeah, he did. They did, which I'm still making reels for, but I'm not showing you guys yet until they're actually completed. I won't be here next week, but my brother will be. Oh, please give him a hard time, Mr. Caesar. I will.
Absolutely. I won't be here though.
No, yeah, they won't be here. But listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining the show. What a fun time. We were thinking this was going to fill the 2 hours, and just as suspected, we filled the 2 hours, because when you start talking about cutting wieners and just
murder hotels,
murder stuff. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Cecil Hotel either. That's one to talk about.
We mentioned it like briefly, but that was it.
Because that's, even though they already figured it out what happened, but still it's kind of weird. Spoiler alert, she didn't kill herself. All right, everybody. Our count was 22 tonight. Oh, 22. What count? What am I missing? What count was that, Abby? I'm not hip.
Oh no.
At the nursing home?
Stop incriminating yourself, Mandy.
Yeah.
No, that's their body count, not mine.
Oh, I think they're talking about people watching the show.
We had 13, 20. Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah. So if you guys don't know, ladies, Normandy, it's another nursing home. So we're gathering.
As much as I'm going to sound bad saying this, I gathered by the name.
I just noticed the golden.
You can be rude.
If
it sounds mean, I apologize, but I gathered for that.
I still need to have each and every single individual person log in. So it looks like we have like 700 people watching.
That's awesome.
You know, but it's great. Listen, we appreciate, we love you guys so much for joining us every Tuesday. You guys are always a fun bunch. We know, we look forward to these two absolutely beautiful women and beautiful souls that join us every month for the new murder mystery show here in the Comic Menu, because it's not always about comics. It's about cutting off wieners. That's right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And Mandy?
Everyone, don't forget to do your Kegels.